Hi, ladies, and welcome to this interview with Wintress Cloud. You are going to really enjoy all of the tidbits that she has to share with you. Wintress, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the girls and tell them a little bit about what it is that you do?
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name is Wintress Cloud, and I am a construction engineer. I specialize in scheduling and advanced work packaging. I work predominantly in heavy industrial industries, so oil and gas, chemicals, sometimes, energy as well. But I have about 5 years of experience in that industry as of right now.
So I'm thinking of like when you were a little girl and the things that you would say about when people would ask you what you wanted to do. So was construction, involved in construction, any of the things that you would say that you want to do? I'm just kind of wondering, like, how did you get involved in being in construction?
Yeah, it's funny. It was, construction was, I can't even say the farthest thing from my mind. It didn't even pop into my mind. I was more design oriented. I was always playing with the Legos, my brother's Legos, and my building blocks. And, once I got to college, I kind of traded my Legos and building blocks in for three-dimensional design and iterative design. So I declared a major in architecture. And through architecture, that's how I was introduced to construction management. So construction management didn't seem like it was an option early on, but just through exposure, that's how I kind of got my legs into it.
So why didn't construction management seem like it was an option before?
There wasn't much exposure, aside from, the orange cones that you drive past. The freeways, especially the freeways in Houston, are infested with these orange cones. There's always construction going on. And I think there's kind of this negative stigma to construction as it's just like boots and hard hat and, really hard backbreaking work, which it is.
Right.
But there's a whole nother side to it that has a bit more sophistication. There are elements to construction, especially those projects that require managing. Mm-hmm. And so if you kind of break it down that way, these individuals need to have background in business, because at the end of the day, these businesses are trying to make money. It's a project. You have to be able to manage a project, and you have to be able to do that time effectively and cost effectively. So that is kind of what really drew me to construction management, is how, not so much the design behind building these things, but how do they get built and how do they do it effectively, on time, and with the right amount of money.
See, that is really cool to think about. Like, I think you're right. Like, when we think about construction, we think all about, people that we see out there with the yellow hard hats and the big work boots and the orange construction cones. And, the joke is that they're always standing around.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I drive by a construction site, all I see is like people standing around.
Yep.
But it is a whole lot more to the construction world than what a lot of us see and interact with. So it's really very cool. Yes. What does it take? You mentioned like doing like some architecture and some design classes in college and everything, but what does it take? Is there, besides college, or do you have to go to college in order to get into this, or what kind of special trainings do you need?
Yeah, so I personally, I did go to college and get a degree in construction management, but by no means is that the only way to get your foot into the door. In fact, there's quite a bit of flexibility within construction management or project management, which is one of the other drawing factors for me. Is a lot of people will get started working in the field. Their in-field experience is a lot of times just as valuable as having a technical background or education. So you can go out and get a certification and from one of these accredited institutions, or like NC, what is it? I think it's NCCER. That's kind of like the standard that all top contractors will hire their craftsmen by. So if you hold one of those certificates, you're more than likely it basically says that you're competent and you're qualified to do the work. And there's quite a few different disciplines. It's not just one generic certification. You can go into pipe fitting, you can go into instrumentation, you can be an electrician, you can there's all kinds of things that you can go into. So you can take that route, or on the flip side, you can get your certification as a PMP, and that's a project management, and that will definitely move you up in management roles a lot quicker. So no, I wouldn't say that the only way to get your foot into the door is getting a 4-year university education. Not at all. Experience speaks just as loudly as your education does.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the questions too, and I understand, like, if you're not sure, but within getting those certifications and things, would it be, because I know with things like especially like electrician and plumber, where you have to do like almost like an apprenticeship as part of that, is that something that would also be a requirement within this field, is doing those apprenticeships? So not just getting the certification, but then you also have to do like the apprentices and working up. So that's
because they want you to go out and put whatever it is that you're learning to practice, apply it to something. So the courses, while you're taking this course or getting the certification, most people would also be working at the same time. And at the point of finishing the course and getting your certification, then you would go back to your employer or the contractor, that would either present you with more options of what you want to do, or it would just gives you more options overall to be able to move around to different places, to different companies. But yes, it's I don't know as far as if there's a specific number of hours or time period that you have to have this apprenticeship, but yes, that is very important.
Okay. And what I really like and what I'm hearing is the fact that there are lots of different avenues that you can go, and that's really something that is important, ladies, for you to realize, is that if you've got a certain goal to get into the construction world, that kind of thing, that there are multiple ways of getting to where it is that you want to go, that there isn't just one set path. So really kind of thinking about that and being open to different possibilities. So it's very good to hear that. So thank you for that. What do you think has been the biggest thing that you have struggled with, and how have you handled it?
I've struggled with having a clear career path. I think it requires far more strategy and kind of self-reflection or introspection than I really considered before. Most of the time, at least for me, once I graduated school and I started working, when you get hired on an entry level, a lot of times what companies will do is they'll have a graduate development program of some degree. And so in that graduate development program, it varies how it looks from company to company, but in that program, typically this individual or this employee will spend so much time in different departments. That way this person could get exposed to as many different avenues, kind of like we were speaking on previously, to figure out where they're best suited and figure out what their interests are. It's also it's better to have like a well-rounded employee, somebody that's aware of all the inner workings that's going on from start to finish of a project. So that's what I've been doing. I've just been trying to get my feet wet and getting exposed to as many different things as I can. And now it's kind of come to the point where I need to figure out what I want to do. What direction do I want to go into? And some things that's helped me out is studying the organization charts. It seems kind of nerdy, but I'm not going to know. I don't know what I don't know. And if I don't know where I can go, then, how can I then come up with my goals? So study those organization charts, and then setting goals, and just kind of thinking about or reflecting about what my specific strengths are and what my interests are, and kind of crafting a roadmap or a career path for me.
Sorry about that whole reach and grab thing. I had a cough, and so sorry about that, ladies.
That's okay. Are you okay?
I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna cough a lot.
You kept it under control, under wraps, really good.
So, and I like that thought of like the really taking the time to think about within your career, where do you want to go with that, and really exploring that, because I think a lot of times we graduate from college and we think, okay, well, this is the job that I'm going to do, and we go down that path of following where we think we're supposed to go, rather than really taking the time to reflect, where is it that we want to be, and even exploring within your company, and really getting to understand the different paths within that company of what options are. And I think too, like the fact that, because I don't think every company does it, where you get the opportunity to explore all the different arenas within that company. I really think that makes you a very a good asset to the company when you know,
yes.
And that really, I think, gives you as well a really good that's what I'm looking for, almost kind of like a leg up when you really do that and you really have that good understanding of the company, because then you can use that, like, I know where this company is wanting to go. I know where their growth plan is. I know how they're thinking, because then you can really work at how can I help the company accomplish their goals. And that makes you an invaluable employee to have, somebody that they want to keep around, somebody that they want to help promote, even because you have the company's interest at heart too. So I think that's really an amazing aspect within that company. Ladies, that would even be something maybe that when you are looking for a job, asking them if they offer something like that. I mean, that's really, that shows me too that that's a company that cares about their employees. So that's really very cool.
And it'll be a good point for them. They'll probably get a gold star because they're like, she's interested in growth. Like, she wants to continue to learn. So it'll kind of be like a check for you.
Exactly. So what do you think has been the funnest or the most rewarding part of your career?
Well, my role requires me to move around quite a bit, and I mean move from city to city. Wow. I really enjoy it. I know that can be kind of a turnoff to some people, just depending on where they are in life. But I'm at a point now where I don't have people depending on me. I can kind of pick up and go as I choose. And I kind of want to take advantage of that while I can. Go out and see what the world has to offer, meet new people, see new places, eat different kinds of foods, experience what different culture is like just all over the world, or even just all over the U.S. So that's been a plus for me, for sure. Before working, I've been born and raised in Houston, only been in Houston. Went to school in Houston. Like, all of my life was in Houston. So work has definitely, or my career has definitely allowed me to go out and see what else is out there.
So where's the coolest place that you've lived then?
So far, well, I mean, I haven't gone to too many places. I've been in Louisiana for a good bit of time, and I'm now in Corpus Christi, So I would have to say I enjoyed Lake Charles quite a bit. Just the food is so good.
Yes.
The food is so good. I had to come back because I was getting too big.
And so what would be like a bucket list location that you'd like to go and live in?
Oh, I really want to work outside of the States at least once. I really want to work overseas at least once. I wouldn't be opposed to Australia. I think now that, Worley is an Australian company, our headquarters is in Australia, it might be a little bit easier for me to get there now or get transferred. So Australia would be really cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just kind of weird too, because used to having although I mean Houston, because I was getting ready to say, I'm like, to have like the summer months be cold rather than, because I was thinking of green Christmas, and I'm like, well, we have a green Christmas here, so what does that matter?
Like have like all 4 seasons instead of 2.
I know.
Really 1.
I know, crazy, right? The girls that are watching this that are from up north and Washington and that kind of thing would be like, what are you talking about?
Can't relate.
I can't relate. So, how has this career been different than you thought it was going to be, like when you first embarked on it?
So I thought that there would be a lot more public speaking. I don't know why I had that in mind. I think just being in school that I'd been getting groomed and prepared for public speaking, which is good, by the way. You want to be able to keep yourself composed and get your message across and be able to do that eloquently. But my specific role doesn't really require me to communicate that formally. Like presentations are common, but I interact more on the ground level with the field supervision. And so what's more important for me is to be able to effectively communicate like complex ideas, and I have to be able to do that orally and written. So communication is a soft skill, but it is probably one of the most important skills that you are going to need everyone will be using it on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
And just kind of keep in mind, not everybody is an effective communicator. So you'll have to kind of do your best into bridging that gap, but also a good leader would help somebody else get to that point. So communication has definitely has been one of the most important things. Public speaking, not right now, but maybe, in the coming years, if I get into more business development, then I'd have to get in front of a crowd more often.
But I think you really nailed it there with the communication skills and the importance of that, because that is something you're going to use every single day.
Day in and day out.
To get ideas across in a way that people are going to understand what you're saying, and want to listen to you when you're saying it. I think is huge, because there are going to be times when you have to communicate something to someone and they're not going to like what you have to say.
Nope.
Especially when you get into a leadership position.
Yes.
There are times when you're going to have to correct someone or whatever, and being able to do that in a manner in which they actually hear and receive what it is that you're saying and are still on your side. Being able to have that communication skill is important to success for sure.
Yes, I agree.
So ladies, thank you for tuning into the interview. Be sure that you scroll down below the video right here. We've got a written portion of the interview. And then remember, below that is comment section where you can leave any questions and comments that you have for Wintress. So until then, thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Bye.
Bye.